The hidden logic of popularity is simple. When people cannot judge quality directly, popularity starts to feel like safety. Think about a restaurant in an unfamiliar city, a book by an unknown author, or a product with hundreds of reviews. The crowd does not prove the choice is good, but it lowers the feeling of risk. If many people have chosen it already, it seems less likely to be a mistake. The obvious explanation is that people are lazy or easily influenced. Sometimes that is partly true, but it misses the more interesting point. Copying can be a rational shortcut when direct evaluation is costly, confusing, or impossible. Most decisions happen under imperfect information. You cannot inspect the kitchen before ordering. You cannot know whether a course will be useful before taking it. You cannot fully test a new technology before relying on it. So the mind looks for signals. Popularity becomes one of the easiest signals to read. This is why popularity feels especially persuasive in unfamiliar markets. The less confident we are in our own judgment, the more valuable other people's behavior appears, even when we do not know what those people actually knew. That signal carries two messages at once. First, other people noticed this option. Second, at least some of them were willing to take the risk before you. In uncertain situations, that second message matters. It says, not necessarily this is best, but this has survived other people's judgment. The problem is that survival is not the same as quality. Something can become visible because it was placed well promoted early or simply lucky. Once it looks popular, people may treat that appearance as evidence. So the visible story is not just that people follow crowds. It is that crowds create a feeling of borrowed confidence. Popularity turns private uncertainty into public reassurance. And once that happens, the deeper mechanism begins. People are not only choosing the popular option, their choice makes it even more popular for the next person. Popularity does not influence everyone equally. It becomes most powerful when the decision is hard to evaluate and the cost of being wrong feels real. The causal chain begins with uncertainty. A person faces several options, but the real quality of each option is unclear. Instead of starting from nothing, they observe what other people appear to be doing. If one option already has attention, purchases, reviews, or visible supporters, it offers a shortcut. Someone else has already spent time, money, or reputation on it. That shortcut can be useful. Human beings learned in groups. If others avoided a dangerous place, it was often wise to hesitate. If others gathered around a reliable food source following them, could save effort. Modern social proof is built on the same basic logic, even when the environment has changed. But the shortcut has a weakness. We usually see the choice, not the reasoning behind it. We know that people selected the restaurant, the app, or the opinion. We do not know whether they researched, carefully copied, someone else followed an incentive, or arrived by accident. This creates what economists sometimes call an information cascade. Early choices become evidence for later choices. Later choices then make the early signal look stronger than it really was. The crowd may appear to contain many independent judgments when part of it is actually one judgment being repeated. That is why small early differences can become large visible gaps. A product with a slight head start attracts more attention. More attention creates more usage. More usage creates more reviews, more conversation, and more reassurance. None of this proves it is the best option. It proves that the signal is getting louder. The mechanism is not stupidity. It is uncertainty, meeting visibility. When people cannot easily evaluate quality, they evaluate confidence. And confidence is often borrowed from the crowd. The strangest effect of popularity is that it can become evidence for itself. A A product sells because it is visible. It becomes more visible because it sells. An opinion spreads because people hear it repeated. It feels more credible because it has spread. A trend grows because early participation makes later participation feel less risky. This is not always a problem. Popularity can contain real information. If many people keep returning to a service, recommending a tool, or trusting an expert over time that may reflect genuine value, the mistake is treating every popularity signal as if it came from independent, careful evaluation. In many systems, attention is not a neutral mirror. It is also a distribution mechanism. Search rankings, recommendation systems, store shelves, bestseller lists, social feeds, office conversations and reputation networks all shape what people encounter first. What people encounter first gets more chances to be chosen. What gets chosen becomes easier to encounter. Again, that is the second order. Effect popularity does not just reveal demand. It can help create demand, a small advantage in timing. Placement status or luck can turn into a larger advantage because each new choice becomes a signal for the next observer. The right lesson is not ignore the crowd. Crowds can be wise when people make independent judgments, when feedback is clear, and when bad options are allowed to fail. The danger appears when people are mostly copying each other, while believing they are observing independent proof. A useful mental model is the signal snowball. At first, popularity may be a small clue. Then it attracts attention. Attention creates more choices. More choices strengthen the signal. Eventually, the snowball can look like proof, even if it began with a tiny push. So when something looks popular, ask two questions. Does this popularity reflect repeated evidence of quality, or does it mostly reflect visibility feeding on itself? The distinction changes the way you see products, opinions, careers, and trends. Popularity is not meaningless, but it is not always wisdom. Sometimes it is uncertainty multiplied.